What is up guys, Andy Forestine Runner here, back with another video for you today, and today I'm delighted to be talking about what is coming up next after the marathon. It's been a long 18 weeks and I've had plans in my mind as to what I was going to do post-marathon, on the assumption that I would have achieved my objective time that I wanted to. I wanted to take a few days to let the dust settle and make sure I didn't make any knee-jerk reactions and make sure that I was settled and happy with everything that I wanted to do and if I wanted to continue on the same path as I had originally planned. So what we're going to do today is I will talk to you about, as I said, those races we've got booked and what the plans are for training. But before we do that, I've got three very quick things to talk to you about before we get into the nitty-gritty. So let's dive in. Okay guys, so just very quickly, on Sunday night my YouTube channel got approved to be a YouTube partner. That means basically when you hit a certain threshold you can start advertising and you get adverts displayed on there. Now for those of you who remember, I don't want you to think I'm being double standards or going back on my word. I said a few weeks ago, or I think it was a couple of months ago now, I didn't really want adverts on the channel, and I set up a link below to donate to the channel if you wished to support it, because for me personally adverts can be quite frustrating. The feedback I had at the time was that you couldn't give a monkeys about adverts, and if you want to have adverts on there, that's absolutely fine. It makes you a bit of money and it will help support the channel. So I kind of walked away from that thinking, oh well, if you don't mind, then I really appreciate that, but I'm still have no intention at this moment in time to put adverts on the channel. Well, either way, when YouTube approved my channel, said it had gone over the threshold, and this is an automatic thing, I didn't have to submit anything, it just happens. Suddenly all these adverts appeared on my videos. So you might have noticed all these adverts started appearing on my videos. Now, this was an automatic thing. I didn't say yes, I want them. They just happened. So that was late Sunday night, actually, whilst I was asleep, about 11 something o'clock. So when I had scheduled my Newport Marathon video to be released on Monday morning, so all these adverts started appearing, and I was like, what's going on? Checked my emails and realised what had happened. Now, due to what you guys have said, I thought, okay, well, I'll leave it and I'll see what happens, because I know that I would be making pittance on these adverts, but I thought, well, if you guys don't mind, I will see what happens and see sort of where I'm at the end of the week. I can tell you it's about $3. But I thought to myself, you know, you don't get a payout until £60. But you know what, if I get £60 every 3 or 4 months, that might be really useful in terms of going towards shoes and race entries and things like that. So if it's okay with you guys, I'll leave it on for now. I didn't want you to think that I was going back on my word. I just wanted to make you guys aware of the situation and what had happened. So again, I appreciate your support there. Okay, number 2, guys, I just want to say a massive thank you for your support on the My Marathon Journey trailer I launched the other night. Basically, what I have been doing in the background is I've been making some extra footage that I haven't released in any of the videos, and I've kept it completely separate, and I've been building up this kind of library of footage in the background and making a big long documentary. And I started it back when my very first week of marathon training, and obviously finished it off this way. Now I have to tell you that it is 45 minutes long. In the beginning of the year I wanted to push myself creatively, and although when you watch this you'll realise that it's not too dissimilar to the videos I've been putting out, what it's allowed me to do is push myself creatively a little bit in terms of trying to string a story together in a longer process rather than just one vlog. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I'm really pleased. I've watched it back a couple of times in terms of the journey and how I've hopefully told the story of the whole thing. But I have to say, go easy on me. Okay, it is the hardest video I've ever had to put out. We all have these fairy tale dreams and endings of how when we start training for a certain time, of how it's going to be amazing in the end. You can put this epic music on as you cross the line and you smash that time. Obviously, for those of you who know, that didn't happen, and I genuinely, hand on my heart, I'm denied as to whether I would even want to put this out or not. But in the spirit of honesty, in the spirit of being a runner, being sort of trying to be grounded and understand that everybody goes through bad days, I have decided to put it out, put it together, hopefully with the basis that you guys will understand and be able to feel my pain as we go through the journey. But hopefully you'll be able to sort of connect with it in terms of the whole marathon journey, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows and everything. So once again, a massive thank you. I cannot wait for that to premiere on Sunday morning. I will try and use the premiere feature so that I can be in the live chat at the same time, and that will be at 9 AM. Okay, and the third and final thing, just before we dive into today, is Newport Marathon Race Recap Part 2. Don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and chew your ears off. I think what I've decided to do park that bus for the moment and maybe revisit it at a later date, maybe in a live stream or something like that. There were lots of emotions and thoughts and feelings that surrounded Newport Marathon for me, and I wanted to keep the race recap video to purely just a race recap, but that ended up being ridiculously long anyway. But there are some people I would like to thank personally to the camera and say you have been flipping incredible throughout this journey. The first and foremost person I want to thank is Doug, my coach from TMR Coaching. His link is in the description below. He has got me into the shape of my life, and I cannot thank him enough. I told him this on a video chat only a couple of days ago. I said, mate, thank you so much for getting me into this shape. You've been incredible, and I couldn't recommend him highly enough. If you're looking to take your running to the next level, hopefully you're seeing the progress that I'm making on this channel. 3 PBs this year, technically 2 really good PBs already. So yeah, if you're looking to make some progress, make sure you check out TMR Coaching, the link below. Of course, my family, my wife in particular, for putting up with me during training. I could have been moody, I was happy, I was sad, depending on what went on. She would have the kids for me whilst I was training, just all these things. And I can't stress to you guys enough, if you have a family and you're marathon training, look after them, because they go through hell whilst you're training. You think you're going through it because you're doing the training, but actually there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with the family, especially if you've got kids, trying to fit it in around work. We sacrifice our social lives to marathon training, but don't forget our partners also sacrifice some of their time to help you out. She used to cook me meals after my long run that were good for me, so that I didn't come in and binge eat. She'd do just everything. So a massive thank you to my wife and my family. Of course, all the Forest of Dean Athletic Club members, Lee and Corey in particular, for the training and the racing we did together. But all of the members have come up to me after the race and said, don't worry about it, you've done incredible. And honestly, same as you guys, I can't appreciate it enough. It's absolutely brilliant. And all of you guys obviously out there, you've been amazing, your support. And a final shout out to Chris Bird. I put a post on Facebook about my video in one of the groups, and he said, yeah, it was a bit of a rough day out there, mate. Didn't quite go to plan for me either, but, well done for getting it done. I said, oh, mate, how did you do? And he put 2:31 first place, and I was kind of like, what? First place? So naturally in my head, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I would love to pick your brain. So I dropped him a message and I said, mate, I'm really sorry that I'm messaging you, but I'd love to just chat to you about how you went and how it went and everything. And bless him, what a legend. He gave me about half an hour of his time, and I can't thank him enough. I think when people look up to you, whatever situation it is in life, it's really important to give people your time. So I know a lot of people on this channel look to my journey and go, wow, you're running times that I could only dream of running, which is why I'm always forthcoming with information and will always comment and try and help, because I know how much I appreciate it when I approach someone that is that next level, a fair few levels above me, and is prepared to give up the time to talk to me, give me advice, talk to me about what went wrong. All of this, it's fantastic. It blows my mind, and that makes me appreciate and understand the journey even more. So Chris, if you're watching this, and he did say he's a subscriber of the channel, if you are watching, mate, I can't thank you enough. That was absolutely fantastic. So that is all I want to say on that. Okay, thank you for your patience there, guys. So what have we got coming up next? What are the plans? What are the thoughts? Well, initially, before I finished marathon training, I knew what I wanted to do this summer, and I knew that after last summer and struggling to do a lot of longer distance races in the heat, I thought this year I wanted to keep things short and sharp and work on my speed. So I had every intention of dropping down to running sort of 10Ks and half marathons again. That is the intention, and maybe see if I can find a 5K to drop into, because I'd love to get into a controlled 5K race environment, despite how much I hate 5Ks. Obviously, we've got that unofficial PB of 17:21 or whatever it was, which was just done around here. I'd love to go into a race and see what I can do. So that was always the plan, but naturally, obviously, after the marathon, I had lots of thoughts and feelings, talking to a lot of people. Maybe you should try again, give it a few weeks and then go for it again. You've got all the training in your legs. And even Doug said to me, look, do you want to try again? I think naturally, with the way he's coached me, he understands that I've got all of this work in my legs. It might be sensible to try and find another marathon, but I think ultimately, even before this marathon journey had finished, I had my heart set on running shorter distance stuff. And I know, having run a summer marathon before, how grueling it is in the heat. And I'm just not prepared to put my body through that. I think after 18 weeks of training, I was mentally exhausted and mentally ready to move on to a fresh challenge. And actually what's exciting me is all the training that we do have in the legs is going to translate into some fantastic, hopefully, shorter distance speed work. So when we start putting the VO2 max and speed intervals into the legs, all the speed endurance stuff we've done throughout the marathon training will complement that beautifully, and hopefully we will see some of our 5, 10 and maybe half marathon times plummet this summer. We shall see. I'm excited. I always seem to do well after a block of marathon training. 18 weeks is another level, so we'll see what happens. And I think I wanted to give it a few days to make sure I didn't have any knee-jerk reactions in terms of, yeah, do you know what, let me book into a race. I have, don't get me wrong, I have been exploring other marathons. I've been looking at them, logistics, seeing what's around. There's a couple of marathons maybe coming up in a week or two, but my body has really appreciated the week off that I'm giving it. I'm not going back out running until Sunday. I'm having a full 7 days off. It's really important, I feel, to allow your body to rest despite what happens on race day, because not only does your body physically need a mental reset, but physical reset, but it needs a mental one too. So I'm excited to announce the following races. I've got 3 races booked in already and ready to go, and there's plenty more where that came from. I just need to wait till payday. So first up, at the end of this month, we have the Vitality 10,000, the Vitality 10K in London. I hear you saying London? What? That's not around you. Well, again, my wife is an absolute saint. We were actually planning to go to London. We booked our hotels and buses and everything to go up there for a couple of days with the kids this time, because the kids were very jealous that we got to go up in April without them. That happened to be on the Monday and the Tuesday, and she just said, oh my goodness, there's a race on. I had no idea about this race. And the more she looked into it, she just looked at me and went, do you want to do it? And I just kind of went, I don't know really, do I want to do it? And she was like, I think you should do it, because obviously now you haven't got your good for age time. There is a possibility that if you don't get into the ballot for London next year and you don't get in the club ballot, you might not be racing in London next year, which is something I've had to accept despite how much I want to do it. Ultimately, London is not going anywhere, but I can't thank her enough. I mean, to do that, and she's a non-runner, you have to understand, so I really, really appreciated it. So that is the first thing coming up. I ended up saying yes, please, which means I've got to catch a 5:30 bus up in the morning. Got to get out of bed at like 4 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to be racing that, to be honest with you. That's only in a couple of weeks' time, but either way, it should be a fun video. Then, first real race, Sunday the 16th of June, we've got the Summer Speedway. You will have known that I've done that race a couple of times now. I did the Winter Speedway this year where I got my 10k PB of 36:17, and we did it last year as well where we got 36:40 something. A massively stacked field there this year. Lots of sub 30 10k runners coming up, some English athletes. It's going to be mind-blowing. If you remember, I ran 36:17 back in the winter, and I still came in the bottom half out of 150 people. There were so many sub 32 and 33 minute 10k runners there. It was insane, and what a pleasure it was to be there. And the other race I have booked at this moment in time is Gloucester 10k, which again I do every year on the 7th of July. I think it's the 7th of July, it's a Sunday. It's around that date, 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that, whatever it is. So that is the 3 races I have booked at the moment. I have also got my eyes on about 3 or 4 other races, which I'll announce as they come in and I book them. I will talk to you about them on videos. There's a couple of half marathons I want to be doing. Ultimately, I want to be targeting the Severn Bridge Half Marathon at the end of August, like I did last year. There's a potential that I would love to see if I can drop into Swansea Half Marathon, although that one's looking maybe unlikely, but I'm still trying to logistically make that one work, and there are some other smaller local races in and around that I'm going to be jumping into. So this summer is going to be all about the track workouts, the track speed, the track everything, the shorter, sharper repeats. And if you guys want to see anything specific in my training, do let me know. I do intend on doing more training series throughout the summer. So that, guys, is what is coming up. I hope that you can get excited with me, because I'm buzzing just talking about it. I can't wait to get back out there. This Sunday is going to be my first run, just 40 minutes, nice and easy. Then we will gently ease back into it next week and hit it hard again the week after. So that's it, guys. That is what is coming up. Thank you so much. If you've got, again, I always say this, if you've got to this point, you're legends. Thank you. I know I've waffled on a lot today, but a few things I wanted to clear up. That means that my next video, I can start afresh and everything is out of the way. I'm looking forward to hopefully chatting to a lot of you on Sunday morning during the premiere of my marathon journey, and yeah, I will talk to some of you then. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly running content, and I will see you next time. Until then.